Neal Boortz sitting in for Tom Houck on WGST.
Neal?
Yes, sir.
This is the Neal Boortz that I remember. Oh, boy. Liberal? Did somebody call you a liberal?
Oh, to conservatives, I am liberal. To liberals, I am conservative. To my family, I'm a general pain in the neck.
To each, whatever he wants to pick you out as, I suppose. Well, it's very good to hear your voice. This is my second time calling you, and it's with great fondness that I remember the first one. I got up very early in the morning, and I cleared my throat, and you said, "Sir, when you recover your health, will you call me back?"
And
I would have crawled through that telephone line.
I am glad you could not get your hands on me that day.
Oh, if I could have gotten a hold of you, there would have been no more Neal Boortz.
I was a little bit testy in my youth, wasn't I?
You were testy. I have another word for it, but...
Obnoxious? Would obnoxious pop into your mind, sir?
Yes. That might get me on my way.
How about crude?
Crude, yes.
Yeah.
Keep on. You're pleasing me as you go on.
How about rude? Would you go with rude?
Rude, crude.
Uncouth.
Oh, boy.
Evil, wicked, mean, and nasty.
And I'll tell you what. Everybody listens to you, and everybody loves to be insulted.
I don't think so. But I look back on those years with great fondness.
Well,
I don't think 100 men, or worse than that, 100 women could ever drag me back into that on a full-time basis. But I sure hope I have the opportunity to sit here for Tom once in a while.
I don't know about 100 women, but it's good to hear your voice.
Thank you, sir. Very kind. 26. You see, I almost gave the old phone number. Old habits die hard. 231-1977. That's the number. Like for you to call. We have a couple of minutes left. Now I'll make sure we get you on the air. We're going to take a short pause here. Neal Boortz sitting in for Tom Houck on WGST. If I couldn't walk to work, I'd have a use for it. Help me get home from this place tonight. 231-1977. And Chamblee. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Neal. First of all, let me say it's my pleasure to talk to you, even though I'm nervous. And
You're nervous?
Yeah, a little bit. A little stage fright here. But
you ought to be on this end of the microphone.
Yeah, I guess so. What I wanted to address was the original topic. I think Mr. Reagan is no warmonger, and I do think he's sincere. I think he believes that he's got our best interest at heart, and I believe there's legitimacy in those beliefs. It's frightening to me, the paralysis or atrophy or whatever word you want to use of the American will. They don't even know where El Salvador is, a lot of them.
Yeah, that's true.
And, really, that's frightening. What can be done about this? I mean, the man gets on there and he talks on TV. Presumably, everybody has access to hear it, and yet, a lot of people, they either don't care or they don't want to care, they don't want to know about it or whatever. I'm not sure. The parallel of Vietnam is just not there, because 5,000 ragtag guerrillas in El Salvador in no way compares to the NVA. We have to, as far as the money, I think we have to win the hearts and minds of the people down there. We have to give them some alternative.
All in the world that our government wants in El Salvador is for everybody to stop taking shots at everybody else and just be quiet and sit still long enough for the citizens to crawl out of their shelters and cast a vote as to what type of government they want. The only problem is, and this I think is true for the left and the right down there, that whoever loses that election is going to say, well, hell with this, and they'll start shooting again.
Well, the right, of course, has more than their share of warts, but at least they pose no threat to our security. And can there be any doubt that this is an external thing that is directed from Moscow, the Kremlin, through 2 or 3 levels of surrogates?
Anybody who doubts that, I don't know what happened to the reasoning faculty.
Well, the people poo-poo the domino theory, but we saw after the fall of South Vietnam, Laos fell, Cambodia fell, millions of people were slaughtered or either that or worked to death or whatever, starved to death. Thailand has been attacked repeatedly, and we see waves of refugees that, you know, they literally risk their lives on the open seas to get out of such a horrible system.
But there is one thing about Vietnam that I would pray never be repeated in El Salvador. Don't ever commit an American life, an American military troop to a war that you are not absolutely determined to win as quickly as you possibly can.
Well,
and that determination was never there in Vietnam.
You're exactly right. Insurgency like this needs two things. It needs a secure base of operations, and it needs a continuing external supply of war materials. And you know, they had both of those things in Vietnam, and the will was never there to pursue it, to cut those things off.
And both of them would be easily cut off in El Salvador. College Park, you're on WGST.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling to find out what your opinion is on the deportation proceedings that were instituted against Dennis Brutus.
Oh gosh, you've got me. I don't even know the issue.
Oh, well,
Deportation against who?
Against Dennis Brutus of South Africa.
Who's trying to deport him?
The U.S. government is trying to deport him.
Why?
They allege that he had outstayed the reasons why he was accepted here as a refugee on a political basis, and they state that he can either go to England or to Zimbabwe, and they know definitely that he is a wanted person down in South Africa.
Wanted for what?
Wanted because he's against the apartheid regime down in South Africa.
Yeah.
And by them trying to deport him to Zimbabwe, that in essence puts his life in jeopardy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. I've been hiding under a rock, I guess. What you told me is the first I've ever heard of that particular subject.
Well, but what do you personally think about the U.S. involvement in terms of its major corporations down in South Africa, whereby we have heard where the port plants in the U.S. closed down some of their plants here and opened big other plants, assembly plants and manufacturing plants down in South Africa.
I am no friend of the South African apartheid form of government, but I am not going to get real lathered up over the involvement of American businesses in South Africa as long as these same American businesses are involved in China and the Soviet Union, absolute slave states where nobody has any rights, let alone one specific minority. I get a little bit fed up with the people that cry South Africa, South Africa, South Africa all the time, when all they have to do is take a look at the Soviet Union and see some real tyranny, see a real slave state. And it seems to me that South Africa becomes an issue not because of what is happening to some of the people down there, so much as it is because of who is doing it, whites, and who they're doing it to, blacks. It's a pure color issue. It's not a political issue. It's whites doing it to whites, or whites doing it to Eskimos, or Siberians, or Huskies, or whatever in Russia. And nobody seems to get really worked up about that. But just, bring the white-black element into it, and all of a sudden it becomes horrible.
Well, I think the main issue that I'm trying to get at is, since you brought up the Soviet Union and China, you'd see that the Soviet Union and China, they're not involved in South Africa. Or if they are involved in any part of Africa, they go out there on a call. When they go out there, they don't establish businesses where they'll have and develop links and maintain links where at any point they can go back in there to justify because they want to go and protect the business interests.
Right. The point I was trying to make was not that the Soviet Union was involved in South Africa, but that some of the same countries same companies that you object to being involved in South Africa are involved in the Soviet Union, a great slave state. I'm going to try to move on the calls rather quickly right now and get as many as I can on the air before we have to say goodnight. Kirkwood, you're on WGST.
Neal Boortz.
Yes, sir.
How dare you have the audacity to go on radio without having Hosea Williams there to keep you straight.
Hosea, I did not know. I wish you were here right now so I could shove a big chocolate cream pie right in your moon pie face. But, you know, we're good. Tell them we're good friends, Hosea, before they think I'm mad at you. Tell them we're good friends before they think I'm being ugly to you.
I don't know whether that's political expedient or not.
Hosea, I didn't know I was going to be on here in time to set you up, but I promise you, if these people are crazy enough to invite me back, you'll be sitting across this table from me.
But let me ask you two quick questions.
Okay.
Do you not agree, and because I'm not getting the kind of help I thought I was going to get, that because Lester Maddox was the only governor in the history of Georgia that left the State House poor, and because of all these fat pension folk like Rich again, do you not agree that Georgia owes something to Lester Maddox as the ex-governor of the state?
I absolutely do. I agree with you. I was proud of you when you made that statement. Didn't you make it on the floor?
Yep.
I was proud of you, Hosea. A rare lucid interval in your otherwise interesting life.
Second question, I'll let you go.
Okay.
A lot of folks see major problems in this country as racism. A lot of will see it as poverty, but will see it as racism. A lot of will see it as education and whatnot. But do you not agree that the basic problem, and you've never been black, but you had a lot of experience, the basic problem of black people in America is an economic problem, and racism is a derivative of that basic problem?
I think...
Hang up and listen to you.
Okay, now, Jose, and I promise you, like I said, if these people are ever crazy enough to put me back on the air here again, you're going to sit across the table from me. You call me at the office tomorrow and let me know how to get in touch with you now. I think, oh boy, I'm glad you asked me this at the end of the show instead of the beginning. I think that one of the basic problems that black people in this country face, and it's of course difficult for me to say this because I am not now black and have never been, and who knows what wonders science will come up with, but I don't plan on being, is that they have been programmed by their leaders and programmed by their parents and programmed by the press and programmed by the politicians to be poor. And if you have that sort of programming going on in your mind, you're going to fulfill it. You're going to do everything you can to fulfill it. For those of you that we have left stranded on the lines, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for calling. I guess Tom Houck's going to be back in his chair tomorrow night. I appreciate the opportunity to fill in for him. I want to thank Michael Goff for producing this, Alan Ullman for setting it up, and Margaret Barker for anchoring the news for us. And I'm going to go home. You all have a pleasant evening.